Every Monday we have Moral Maze, where we discuss issues of morality and ethics and family and all that sort of thing. And you know, I'm sort of joked about it. If Obama wins, we won't be able to discuss it. But you know, joking aside, this man, and particularly those around him, they're very censorious and controlling of contrary opinion. And it'll be interesting to see if Obama does win, what the next 4 years will present to people in the United States. Remember that there are 40 Catholic institutions suing this man, one of which is the University of Notre Dame, arguably the most liberal Catholic college of higher education in the world, perhaps. And if they're doing it, it must be an issue. Anyway, Moral Maze, where we discuss all sorts of issues. Alissa Golob is here from Campaign Life. Life site, they're different, but they're connected. And I've got to begin with this one because I want to. A Washington college said their non-discrimination policy prevents them from stopping a transgender man from exposing himself to young girls inside a woman's locker room. This is hard to believe, and this is a legislation that they want to bring in to Canada. This guy, I assume...
They already have brought it in.
Well, they have, haven't they? So he still has all his equipment. He still has fully loaded. He's still fully loaded. Fars blanks, but he did. Anyway, he's still... is that... There's a photo. Is that... Oh, my God.
He goes by Colleen.
Look at the, oh, you can see the screen. He goes by Pauline.
Colleen.
Colleen.
Yeah.
Oh, good Irish name. Doesn't look like a Colleen to me. So, it's a man. He has all his gear, and yet he thinks... What is he having medication or something to...
I didn't read anything about that, just the fact that he goes to this locker room at the Washington College. He's a 45-year-old male student, and he goes into the change rooms there, just walks around naked, goes into the sauna, sprawls out. But the thing about it is that the high school shares that locker room and the swimming pool, the community swimming pool. So 6-year-old girls walk around there all the time, and then you have this 45-year-old man sprawled out
in front of everyone. So he says he's transgender, which in this case seems to be he dresses as a woman. Yeah. So he's mentally ill. Yeah. And even if he is, so he then wants to use this changing room, which he shouldn't be able to. He then, instead of being very private, goes even further, and he wants to walk around constantly naked and then lie down in the middle of the place in front of everyone, including girls, whatever their age, but 6, 7, 8, 9, up to young women. And when there was a complaint made by the manager, they then said, oh, no, he's transgendered. And the manager had to apologize for complaining. What
really got me was that Colleen was quoted as saying, this isn't 1959, you don't go calling the cops if you use the wrong water fountain. So,
do you know, that is such an insulting thing to say. Black people, Africans taken from their homeland, enslaved, treated like animals, castrated if they try to run away for a third time, whipped, worked to death, not allowed to drink from the same water fountain as white people. And this idiot dares to compare his neurosis to their struggle.
Just so we can walk around naked and
disturb little God, children. He should be horsewhipped. I mean, that is just, you know, it's so arrogant when people do this. I mean, the struggle of black people for equality, which still hasn't been completely achieved, has nothing to do with sexual lunacy or this sort of crap. It really angers me, actually. It's like calling everything the Holocaust. It's not. Leave it alone. It was their suffering. It's not ours. It was theirs.
And I can totally predict, you know, maybe in a month or 2 months on the Moral Maze, we'll be talking about the same thing happening in Ontario. I think you're right. I honestly do believe you're right. I see that another arrest has been made of a 90-pound woman who dared to say that maybe killing babies is a bad thing. Praying outside the abortory is criminal in Ontario. And yeah, Linda has been arrested again. It was
Linda
Tuesday.
Gibbons.
Yeah, Linda Gibbons, Tuesday, October 30th. And, you know, I think that I know Linda very well. I think she's amazing. And every time somebody kind of talks to me and asks me, why in the world does she get arrested? What's the point of that? It always comes back to, you know, a story that I was told by Father Ted Colleton, who used to chain himself up to the abortory.
May he rest in peace.
Yes, deceased. And so when a reporter asked him, I think it was on a CBC or some type of interview, he said, you know, if you were walking past a public swimming pool or a private swimming pool that said no trespassing, and you saw a man through the fence, a man drowning a little boy in the pool, would you hop over the fence and save him, or would you not? Because it says private property, and that's what he compared it to, and the reporter conceded on that point. And I think it's very similar to what Linda is doing, and she saved so many babies in jail and out of jail. And you know, when I asked her why she does that, she really said, are we really acting like abortion is killing children? Are we actually doing what needs to be done by saying that's actually happening in our clinics?
And people need to know, I mean, that there are two high-profile people. It's Mary Wagner, isn't it, and Linda Gibbons. Now, Mary does go inside, and people may argue with that. I mean, that's open to debate. But just to put this in context, all Linda does is well outside of the clinic, maybe 20 feet away, she prays.
Yes.
And that is enough to have her arrested. And this is all because, I mean, she couldn't be violent if she wanted to. She's tiny. This is all because a provincial government in Ontario, and it happens elsewhere in the country, said there's a bubble zone. So 50 or 60 feet, if you go within that. I reported once on one of the many arrests of this woman, and there was one point when one fellow had his foot over the curb of the sidewalk, and a cop stopped traffic, and there must have been probably certainly 2 lanes of traffic. And he stopped to walk across in that arrogant cop way to say, you've got your foot over the curb. And I went over to cover the arrest. I was working for News Talk 1010 CFRB, as it was, with the CFRB. And the woman cop, I probably told you this, said to the other officer, should we arrest him as well? This is the attitude they have towards freedom. Oh, there's a journalist covering the event. Should we arrest him?
And it's a temporary injunction that was put on over 20 years ago, and it hasn't been addressed yet. Linda continues to get arrested and trying to push that particular injunction be addressed, but they won't address it, so she'll continue to be arrested. Last
minute or so, forced abortion for a woman in Nevada?
Yes, 32-year-old woman was born with fetal alcohol syndrome, has epilepsy. She wanders to the nearest truck stops and casinos and I guess has sex with whatever dirty, gross men are there. And she became impregnated, and she has adopted parents. She decided she wanted to keep the baby, give the baby up for adoption, but they took her to court over it to try and force her to have an abortion, which the judge was seriously considering. And so the lawyer representing the impregnated woman rushed it to the Supreme Court in Nevada, and they're going to make their decision at noon today. But they were...
So we're recording this earlier, so it'll be known by the time this goes to air. That's quite shocking because, look, she's not fit to raise a child at this stage in her life, but she's not trying to. She's saying, I want the child to live, and there are people who are desperate to adopt children who want to raise this child, but they're suggesting, no, well, kill the child, because you're a broken person with lots of challenges who had sex with a group of guys who can't control themselves. Because of that, will kill your child. The state to have so much power. I mean, anyone who opposes the death penalty, for example, should say immediately, this is wrong too. This is absolutely horrible.
Well, it's no better than communist China dragging the women out their front door if they're pregnant with their second child and forcing them to have abortions in their mobile clinics. So we're really better off. And this is in a country where there are restrictions on abortion. I can't even imagine if that happened in Canada. There's no laws protecting the unborn at all. So I could see if something like that happened, it'd be even worse here.
So. As always, a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael.